Hi, I'm Jacqui Jones from Netconcepts, and today we're talking with Jeremy Wood from Google, and today we're going to be discussing Google Gadgets and Gadget ads. So thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. How about we start with just discussing what Google gadgets actually are and how they differ from Gadget ads.
Yeah, so we have two products, and I guess it's a little confusing because one's gadgets and one's gadget ads. And starting with the base program, I guess the base model is gadgets themselves. And typically, the gadgets are most sort of familiar to people that on iGoogle. Mm-hmm. So when you go to the iGoogle homepage, basically all those what are sometimes known as widgets, we call gadgets, are in fact are sort of just plain gadgets, and they can be anything from weather to horoscopes to crossword puzzles to much more sort of complex. And they're really like just little applications in a way, or even mini websites.
Awesome. So why do you think marketers should actually care about Google Gadgets or Gadget ads?
So for the gadgets themselves, it's just a huge exposure. It's basically a way on a free platform for marketers to get additional exposure, either driving traffic through their website or branding, mm-hmm. or just getting some interaction, just getting some value from their clients, or just really just having a bit of fun without costing them anything besides maybe some development time. Mm-hmm. The gadget ads themselves are much more sort of, they can take advantage of our broader content network. You can place those ads in much more specific, highly targeted pages, so that you know that basically the viewers that are seeing these gadgets are indeed your target audience. Okay. So it's really the availability to be able to take a mini version of their website or a component of it and actually get it right in front of your end customer.
Awesome. So you've just spoken about how gadget ads can be placed on the content network, and that's a paid placement. So what are some other ways that marketers can get their gadgets get more exposure?
Yeah, so what we do is we encourage people developing gadget ads to in fact place an add to iGoogle little button on their gadget ad itself, mm-hmm. because although it's serving on our content network and they're paying for that in some way or another, they can also let users take it off our content network and put it onto their iGoogle page, and again leveraging that sort of platform and that additional viewership. Mm-hmm. Again, people are also free to take that and put it on their Facebook page or MySpace or even their own web page or a blog. And they can just, it just repurpose itself over and over and over. So there's really no end to where you put it. It's really just a little snippet of code. So,
well, that sounds really good that you can get so many uses from, such as a small application. Many of Netconcepts clients really care about conversion and driving traffic to their website. Do you think gadget ads are really a type of banner ad which possibly isn't so great for driving traffic, or do you think it is useful for that purpose?
I actually think one of the powers of gadget ads is the fact that because it essentially is a website within a website, you're really free to develop it in any way you want. And so based on your objectives, say if your objectives are driving traffic, mm-hmm. then you're free to build a gadget ad that in fact will drive people right through it to your website. So we had a few people in the beta testing phase that did exactly that. They had a very maybe one or two layers of interactivity before it drove people straight to the site. We had phenomenal click-through rates, and really at the end of the day, it was driving that click-through rate versus just pure branding where maybe they're just engaging users. Okay. So I think it's wide open actually to whatever you want to do with it.
So do you think, what we've seen so far with gadget ads is that they're mostly flash banner ads. Mm-hmm. Do you see advertisers actually creating more mashups or reservational forms or other types of applications as such?
Yeah, well, I think again the great thing is that you're really not limited by any sort of programming or constrictions that way. It's really open source, so it's native for people to take advantage of Flash. It's familiar to people, mm-hmm. but we're really just trying to get people to be more and more creative and I think outside the box. And people are slowly starting to do that and integrate sort of different sort of languages and things like that. And I think we're just going to see cooler and cooler stuff basically from the developers putting these together.
Awesome. Okay, so Do you have any hints or tips on how marketers could actually increase the click-through rates from their Gadget ads?
So one of the learnings that we're getting from sort of the early testers and even the people adopting it right now is really execution. We're not really seeing people fail because of the distribution or anything else rather than the actual creative execution. So we really want to encourage people to spend the time on the development phase, take their objectives, really build it out to exactly what they want to do, and they'll see great results at the end of it. So really, I think it's just really, fresh content. It's the same as any sort of traditional website. Yes. Keep it fresh, keep it unique, but at the end of the day, make the navigation easy and make the path obvious. And I think you'll see great results out of it.
Okay. So how do advertisers actually track the performance of those ads? From the guidelines, you can't actually place any cookies as such within those ads. So how do you actually do that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think it's also one of the unique things that stands Gadget ads apart from anything else at this stage, and that's our interaction tracking. So we offer up to 30 different levels or different types of interaction tracking right now, which actually feeds right back into your AdWords account. And you're free to actually just bake that into the code yourself, whether it's a play, a fast forward, rewind, a mouse over, mouse off, clicking in a certain corner versus another corner. Right now 30, we're hoping to expand that over the coming months to a much deeper level. But basically you have that great reporting that's fed right back into your account, so you can track very, very well.
Okay. And what about, like in the guidelines, they also specify that animation must be kept to a limit of 15s. Is that for the total ad itself, regardless of how many animation screens that there are within that Gadget ad, or can you have 15 seconds maximum for each slide, so to speak?
Yeah, so I mean, in theory, that's per animation, I guess. It can be made up of levels. What we're seeing right now is people typically they're not sort of confusing the user by having lots of different things going at the same time. But if you take yourself from one part to the next part, and then there's a flash animation, that's fine to sort of continue that 15 seconds. So it's really about the user experience, and you just don't want to sort of overwhelm them with gizmos because you can, sort of thing. So
absolutely. And it is about the user experience. So if a user does not have Flash enabled on their browser, what do they see instead?
So yeah, that's a great point. So basically what's going to happen is that they're going to see sort of a backfill sort of image, and basically we encourage the Gadget developers to have that sort of alt source in place so that people can see at least maybe a static frame. Yes. But we're seeing that the rates of sort of Flash-enabled browsers are phenomenally high, yes. And so it's an extremely small portion that might not have the full user experience that you're hoping to get out of Gadget ads.
Okay. Okay. So some other questions, technical questions. Do you see at some point Google launching its own cookie type system to track the user experience at all?
I can't really comment on that at this stage. I think basically the best way to answer that is just to say that this is the very early stages of this. We're taking in feedback, we're redeveloping, we're just moving forward with a whole bunch of sort of great initiatives over the next little while. So it's probably just stay tuned at this stage. Okay.
And so for the foreseeable future, what is the future of Gadget ads, say for the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, what I'd like to see is basically, the developers themselves sort of coming back to us. We want to work with the user community and basically see what people can do with them. And if there are any kind of restraints, maybe, working with those people to build that out and make it, a function in future versions of Gadget ads. But I really just want to see, I think, people getting out of the mindset that this is just sort of a flash ad or something like that, the next level, and really just take advantage of the open source sort of platform to just do something really just out of this world. So really from a creative element, that's what I'm really hoping to see over the next 6 to 12 months, because like I said, they really can just do anything they want with it.
Exactly, there's so much scope with Gadget ads, so hopefully we'll see much more of that. Well, thank you for your time today. It's been awesome speaking with you, and I'm sure that we'll be in touch over the next little while. So thank you.
Thanks very much, Jacqui.